I had a meal with Roger Stone. Yeah,
What was
right.
that like?
I mean, you know, he was
charming.
That's
what you don't want to tell us.
right.
But
He's charming. No, he was charming and he was funny and said amusing things and knew a ton about politics. But and I guess I didn't know his whole. But this, by the way, this was probably 20 years ago, right? You know, and so I just, you know, he was known as this sort of right wing radical kick, but funny and amusing and sort of. You know, knew the score, knew how real politics were done, and understood when things went the other way, right? But you know, never thought of as a, you know, I mean, a criminal, and just says insane stuff. Or a guy who I'd be sitting, you know, 10 feet from at the Republican convention, well, who partners with Alex Jones, who comes and crashes a TYT show, and Cenk's yelling at Alex Jones, and Roger Stone is off camera saying "F you" to Cenk and doing this, right? And I'm 6 feet from that. I'm like, hey man, we had dinner, remember? You know, I think you were funny. I didn't give a second thought about it. I thought it was strange that the person who I know, who knows Roger, I was like, that's a weird connection, but it was a fun dinner, right? You know, again, it might have been 25 years ago, but anyway, insane. So you mentioned
that was a wild moment to see. I mean, I just saw it on TYT and I thought, well, holy, I mean, you know, I thought there'd be fisticuffs. As I recall, somebody, I think Jimmy Dore was on the set and he threw water at
Jimmy spit water at Alex Jones, who then told someone that Ben Mankiewicz just spit water at me. Right. I later learned, which caused me to panic because, you know, Jimmy, whatever. If to a quick observer, I don't think Alex is a big watcher of the show. Jimmy and I, you know, we had some glasses. It's not a wildly dissimilar look, right?
Yeah.
And it's
so
just
it was a legit case of mistaken identity, is what you're saying?
So I was like, hey man, look, man, this is bad, but I didn't spit water at anybody, and I want that made clear. Right? I want that made clear to, you know, all other people who are interested in my behavior. So no, of course that night was you know, and it's funny because that's to me sort of the beginning of exposure firsthand to Trump ugliness, and here we are at the end of it. So it actually is sort of appropriate to talk about. That was an awful night. There was nothing. I had the you know, the heart beating fast that comes with you know, the sort of when you have this moment of great intense emotionality, right? But I did not enjoy any part of that. No part of it. I had a big fight with Jimmy that night that you know, people in this incredibly tiny world still talk about, you know, where there were some FUs said to each other like on the air from, you know, 4 feet away. And then the thing, maybe that was the other night, but the whole week, it was just wasn't my bag, man. It was not, it was a fractious night, but I did get up and stop Cenk from punching Alex or Alex from punching Cenk. I may not have stopped it, may never have happened, but it finally, after Michael and I were just sitting there watching, being like, man, please end, please end, please, please end, please end. And then I finally got up because I thought Cenk was going to throw a punch, but I did take my jacket off first, which looks super badass in the video. Yeah. Like, okay, I'm ready to fight. But it was actually, it was not my jacket. And I didn't want it damaged. And the mic was, of course, tied to it. So I had to sort of take it off. But it has the appearance of, all right, let's go. But it was not an all right, let's go.
Great move.
It was an all right, come on, guys. Come on. And I said, I put my hand on Alex Jones. And I said, Alex, come on, man. Enough. Like that was my big moment. Come on, man.
Well, sometimes you need a guy who plays that role, you know.
Oh, I'm put on this earth to be. Come on, guys. Enough. That's my job. That's my lot in life.
But I mean, as I recall, last thing on that, and then we can move on. But that was a hot set, as they say. Like you guys were on at that point, or he crashed onto your set, which is like a totally. I mean, it spoke to the utter rebellious and the utter disregard, the utter rebellious nature, and the utter disregard that he had for, you know, for the sanctity of anything, even the miniature media sanctity that there is on a set, you know.
Yeah, I mean, but they're believers. Mark, all they're trying to do is protect the First Amendment, the right to free speech. Right. Yeah, no, look, he came on, he crashed the set in the middle of the show. He's a waste of human potential. I mean, it is a travesty that this guy has any followers, and it's a shame, and it's awful, and he makes the world a worse place. Makes the country worse, makes the world worse.
Though, that style, I mean, I think so much of this media following that so many people find attached to them is associated with style, and that WWE over the top, scream fest that Alex Jones leads, where he can go from zero to screaming in a short time. It's performance art. I see it that way, and he's married it to these conspiracy things and all the rest, and he's found an audience. But without the performance, I don't believe he'd have the,
no, I think you're totally right, 100%.
All right, thanks for watching this free clip of Old School. Don't forget to become a TYT member today for the rest of the show and for more exclusive content throughout the network. Join now at tyt.com/join.